Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this very special moment for Acorns. If I can just take us back to the mid-1980s, there was a headmaster of a special needs education school in Birmingham who worked with a lot of kids with life-limiting conditions and serious illness. And one year he was very shocked by the number of deaths at the school and what he saw as a complete lack of support for the children and for their families at that time. And it lodged a seed in his heart, in his head, and he started to talk about it with a group of other volunteers. He said, wouldn't it, I've just heard that there's a first children's hospice in the UK, opened in Oxford, a place called Helen House. And he said, wouldn't we want one of these here in Birmingham, serving the kids in the West Midlands? And little by little they recruited other people who shared that vision, who shared that compassion. They recruited friendly and sympathetic members of the media community, like our president Kay, and they started to what was called then the Children's Hospice Appeal. And they eventually raised several £1 million and opened what became the first Acorns Children's Hospice in Birmingham 30 years ago in 1988. And since then we have grown with the support, with the encouragement and with the sheer generosity of our local community. We have grown, and we now serve children across the entire West Midlands from 3 hospices, Birmingham, Walsall and Worcester. And Acorns Children's Hospice is the largest children's hospice in the UK now, as measured by the numbers of children and families that we're working with. So we're going to mark our 30th anniversary by saying thank you, and we're going to be calling many of the people who started us going 30 years ago today, and just to try and give a little bit of love back, to thank people for everything they've done for Acorns. In today's money, if you work backwards, the people of the West Midlands have together supported a charity that has raised about £250 million over 30 years to deliver our care. It's a phenomenal achievement, and it started with a few pennies here and there. I'm extremely proud to work for Acorns. I know all of you are. You all look fantastic. We're going to be kicking off today a calendar of anniversary celebrations that we hope is going to last the whole year, and we hope that everybody across the region will find something, whether it's a run or to re-engage with Acorns, become a supporter, visit your local shop, jump out of an aeroplane, start to volunteer. There are so many ways that people can re-engage with Acorns and can help us lay our foundations for the next 30 years in the history of this lovely charity. So it gives me now great pleasure to introduce our president at Acorns, Kay Alexander MBE, who was here from the very start.
Thank you, Toby. I don't know how you've managed to get out of looking like a unicorn.
Well, you have hair, so...
Doesn't make a difference. Well, yes, I was at the very first lunch where that first group of people, Peter Wildblood among them, the teacher, got together and they said, let's have a lunch and invite all the local celebrities and all those sorts of people. And there were footballers and people like me. And I was at that very first lunch where we said, yes, let's start to raise the money for a children's hospice. And I think I opened the very first shop. I wonder if it was in Cotteridge. I can't remember. I remember the day. I remember the day because we had a wonderful volunteer, an elderly woman who was an absolute cheerleader for Acorns in those days. And this hospice movement was so new too. it was such a lovely idea, but people didn't quite know what they were supporting. Helen House had had a lot of publicity, but you know, a lot of people, especially those sorts of people who really needed our help, wouldn't have been the people to know about Helen House. And doctors didn't know and nobody knew. So we really had to do a lot to raise its profile. But look where we are 30 years later, and I cannot tell you how proud I am to still be involved. When I retired from Midlands Today, I said to the various charities of which I was patron, and this was one, look, don't you want to get someone who's a bit more current, you know, still working? And they all said no. So I was very proud of that, and I am especially proud that Acorns kept me on, and even more proud when they asked me to be president for this year. It's just wonderful. I did say to my husband this morning, I'm just going to have a week of coffee and cake. And he went slightly green, and that wasn't from sickness, it was envy. But I just think it's great we're all here together, and today is the day that really starts it off, isn't it? With all of you who organise Acorns. You are part of the team that keeps it on the road, that keeps the volunteers going, keeps the shops going, keeps the publicity, and it's so important. So I know you'll never stop doing that, but I'm just so proud to see what this is like today compared with what it was like 30 years ago. Lots of enthusiasm then, very few people. Now it's both. Lots of people and masses of enthusiasm and masses of support. It's just wonderful. So thank you very much. Let's have a fabulous year this year.